friends, me KamoFlame,
and me Shiwo,
will be discussing about how and why we get distracted.
Be honest, you've probably been distracted 20 or 30 times before.
Or a few hundred.
And you've probably tried to shrug it off as normal and cope with it.
But you don't know how and why we get distracted. That's why today we will explain how we get distracted.
First, let's talk about why we get distracted.
Basically, we get distracted of something that's more interesting to us than the task at hand.
It's that simple. The topic of how we get distracted, though, is something a bit more complicated. In your brain, you have about 100 billion neurons. Neurons are cells in your brain that send messages to the rest of your body.
Let's say you're focused on your boring algebra quiz when you suddenly see a spider crawling on the wall. There's a spider on the wall! No! Spider! Number one? There's a spider on my wall!
You're fascinated by spiders, and when you see the spider from the corner of your eye, your neurons start their work.
Might as well finish my homework until the 911 comes. Forget this algebra! There's 2 spiders! 3 spiders! 4 spiders!
Hey, camera. Oh my god! Spider on your head!
Ah! Fire spiders! Parts of your body and brain about the spider, and then you get distracted.
And all of this happens in a few seconds.
Mind-blowing, isn't it?
When you make a decision to focus on something, what we now understand is that the front part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, has projections to the visual part or the auditory part of its sound that allows you to increase the processing of that information more if it's relevant to you, if it's your focus, and less if it's irrelevant to you, if you're trying to ignore it.
Let's go back to the topic of why we get distracted for a little bit and discuss about reasons why we get distracted.
One reason we get distracted is what happened in the past and what may happen in the future. Another one is fear.
Daydreaming can also be a distraction, a common one, as well as technology. That's right, what you're watching right now is a distraction.
Sorry for the distraction.
So there are many reasons why the brain tells us to get distracted. And if we remove that certain part of the brain, somewhere in the future where we could have surgeries like that, we could end the problem of distraction. Ah, stop! You're distracting me, Come here. Let me talk. So now that I've gotten rid of all the distractions, I can finally talk.
Blah! Yeah!
Topic of neurons and talk about them for a bit. Neurons have parts called dendrites. Dendrites are hair-like rods at the end of the neuron. They collect electrical signals to help the neuron receive commands. Neurons also have parts called axons in the middle of their body that look a bit like penne pasta, except a lot smaller. Axons do the opposite of dendrites. They take away unneeded information from the neurons. This helps the neurons tremendously. Let's do some crazy facts about distraction. In the year of 2014, 431,000 people were injured in car crashes revolving around distracted car drivers. That's a lot of people. Some studies claim that students who are more intelligent than others tend to be distracted more often.
Sensory neurons are neurons in the brain that triggers. Sensory neurons are nerve cells that respond to distraction. 10% of people killed in car crashes were distracted when they crashed, mostly 15 to 19. About 4.4 children ages 4 to 17 have been diagnosed with ADHD in the US, which stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactive Disorder, which makes you really distracted. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned a lot from it.
If you liked the video and you did learn a lot about why and how we get distracted, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment good comments. Thank you and bye.
Thanks for watching, dudes.